Alright, hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Culture Study. I'm your host, Jack, joined by my fellow co-hosts.
Giovanni.
Alright, Gio. How have you been?
I've been well. I have a new job in the horizon and stuff to look forward to. What about you? How are you?
It was funny. There was something I specifically wanted to mention, and then I just completely blanked on it. But I've been doing pretty good. Just been having fun. Obviously, you're included in that. The boys have been meeting up on Discord, watching movies, just having conversations and stuff. It's been real fun, I guess you could say informative when, we've been talking a lot about different things. And I've just been, doing a lot of podcast work, which I'm excited for. I was trying to see with Dom if we could do the episode we had planned yesterday, today. But I don't know if he's off of work yet or what time it will be. But for now, we will focus on today's episode and today's topic.
Very well. Today we're going to be talking about the nation's little sister, IU, and her fourth, I believe it's her fourth full album.
Yes.
Yeah, her fourth full album, Lilac.
Yes.
To give a brief introduction to IU, to those who need it, she's been in the industry for a very long time. He tried. Well, let's start with her beginning because it's very interesting. At first, her family was well off, right? They had a stable income, and things were going well. But something happened, and her family was suddenly in a huge debt to the point that they had to move to a province. I don't remember which one, and live with their grandma. And then it was all right, It's not like it wasn't bad. They were struggling, but it wasn't the worst it can be. She tried to stay, according to others, she was very positive during that time. She was very grateful for what she had until things got even worse. Her grandma's house was infested by cockroaches. So they had to move from her grandma's house to another relative's house, and things got even worse because she said in an interview that at certain points they wouldn't have enough food for everyone, and it was just, she had a very tough childhood. I just remembered when she was before all of this, when she was still financially stable, her family was still financially stable. Her parents were paying for her acting classes because she had the dream of being an entertainer. And after they were forced from their grandmother's house to another relative's house, a relative of her, I think her uncle, would get home drunk and start verbally abusing her. Saying things like, you should abandon your dream of being an entertainer because you're never going to make it, and focus on studying and, staying in school. And she mentioned in an interview that at points she would pretend to be asleep to avoid all of that. And the good thing is she didn't give up on her dream, evidently. She went on to audition to a lot of companies, one of them being JYP, the company of toys. But she was rejected by most of them because I don't know why. Some said that they didn't see the potential in her, which is kind of baffling to me. But it's very small company. Let me just search up the name.
Is it, never mind, I don't know how to pronounce this. I do not even want to attempt.
Lone Entertainment.
Okay.
Lone Entertainment, let's go with that. they saw her potential, they signed her, and she started her training there. And again, she mentioned in her interview that she was so happy to be there because this is very sad. The reason being was because they had enough food for her, so she could eat as much as she wanted. That's very heartbreaking. I think she was like 13 at the time, I believe, or around that age. And for a 13-year-old to just have to go through that is very sad. So eventually she would debut with a song called Lost Child, which is very good. You should check it out when you can. And at first things were going slow. Like she was seeing some success, but it wasn't like anything noteworthy. And then she continued to release EPs, albums, songs, singles, and her popularity kept growing and growing and growing until she was dubbed the nation's little sister. And I think the song that really helped her blow up is called Good Day. You should listen to that too. It's a very pretty song. And years later, now, she released Lilac, which the theme of it is saying goodbye to her 20s and saying hello to her 30s. And we could see that message throughout the album.
Interesting.
I should mention, this is very important to her story because I think it was 2018 when Chinese Jong-un decided to take his life. I told you about this, the carbon monoxide poisoning. And they were very close, like very, very close. Like they were closest of friends. And that was the first one to happen. Years later, another of her close friends, Suli, decided to take her life too. And at the time she was doing a concert. She had to postpone it for a month, to kind of go through the emotions and how she felt, time for herself, basically. And then at that concert, towards the end, she dedicated a song for Suli and to anyone who needed it. And this is this is unbelievable. The next day, another one of her closest friends decided to take her life, Kohara.
Wow.
So she's been through a lot, and with her personal life at home and in the industry. She released a song too called 8 that was dedicated towards them. She starts the song off saying, "So are you happy now?" And it's basically saying that, well, now that they're in a different place and that they're free from all the hate, the ridiculous hate that they got. Yeah, I don't know. It's even more surprising because people still took it the wrong way and decided to post hate about that song. And it's
very ironic.
It's unbelievable. But we should get into the album because I'm getting emotional about it.
For sure. But going back to what you were saying, I really didn't. That's on my part for not seeing that. I mean, it's obviously because I didn't know a lot of her history, but I didn't know that this album was about leaving her 20s for her 30s, But that's a really cool concept that, now looking back at a lot of the lyrics that I have, I can see it meaning that, and it's just definitely a cool, different interpretation to take upon the album.
And through her discography, you can see a lot of her albums, and some songs specifically are about her getting older. She has a song called 23, and then 2 years later she released a song called 25, I think, or about her turning 25.
Interesting. Alright, well, let's get straight into it with the first song off the album, the title track, Lilac. What were your thoughts on this song, Gio?
Can we pause?
Alright, so yeah, first song of the album, what were your thoughts on
it? The first time I listened to it, it was actually my introduction to IU. It's a very pretty song. Like, the whole vibe of it is like spring. Like, I thought of spring because, lilac flowers. And her voice too. Her voice is like one of the prettiest in K-pop.
Yeah, I think she has some amazing vocals.
Like, it was a very pretty song. Honestly, I struggled with the lyrics. As I was reading the lyrics, I couldn't pinpoint the point of it because at first I thought it was like related to like relationships, but then it kind of, some of the lyrics just didn't really connect with it.
Yeah.
With that theme. So I decided to do a little bit of research, and that's when I discovered that it's actually referencing, that song specifically is referencing IU saying goodbye to her youthful memories, her memories of her youth, which would be like her 20s and before, and saying hello to her upcoming 30s.
Okay. Yeah, because, I mean, similarly, because I didn't know about that whole, like, sort of like a story or, like, general topic. It's like, I kind of saw a lot of, like, I don't know, for me, it just kind of seemed like a lot of it was about, like, relationship-wise, but, like, again, like how I said earlier, it's pretty cool to look back and kind of now have that different perspective to look at, but, like, similarly, I mean, with this song, again, it was really good. I really liked it, but there wasn't many lyrics I could pinpoint from it. The one that stood out the most to me, though, is just the line, will you forget me someday? Will you forget our faces and the scent of today? It's like, that one really stood out to me because of the whole, theme of like how I was saying about, like, love, but then also it really ties well into, the song name of Lilac, because obviously flowers have fragrance, and so she's tying that in with the whole, are you gonna forget the scent? And it ties back into the whole thing of, like, when it comes to memory, it's not just the visuals you remember. There's so much to a memory. It's the visuals, the smells, the way certain things felt, and all that, just simple stuff like that. And it's I don't know, that lyric just really kind of stood out to me.
It is interesting because whether we want it or not, there are some instances where we just forget, or we start forgetting certain memories. And it's kind of like a unique point of perspective because she's speaking for the memories and saying, are you going to forget us? And that's interesting to me.
Yeah.
And with the whole, I don't know, just the whole, like, the idea of youth and its memories, it's kind of, everyone longs for it, even if it only just happened. So it's, I don't know, I really like Lilac as a song because of that fact.
Yeah, I enjoyed it as well, and more than anything, I really enjoyed the overall sound of it, Like, it sounded really nice.
You should see some of the stage performance of Lilac. IU wears a lot of, like, pretty dresses and outfits. And I don't know, it's just like everything about IU is so beautiful. Okay, I'm sorry to fanboy. God damn it.
but good song. And what about the next song, Flu?
Blue was kind of an interesting take on falling in love.
Hmm.
It was kind of like comparing illness to falling in love. Obviously, because But it was also interesting because at some point she said, "How could I?" She kind of says, "How could I be this stupid to fall in love again?" And you could kind of relate to that because when you get sick, you're kind of like, "How could I be dumb enough to get sick again?" Kind of thing.
Yeah, I get that.
And
yeah, I like this song, not as much as Lilac, but definitely liked it, and I definitely obviously caught that theme because of the name, and then reading the lyrics, it definitely stood out to me. I don't mean this in a bad way, but it was simplistic in the fact that it got its message across like straightforward. It wasn't like other type of songs where like you have to like really like kind of look into it in a sense of like you're kind of stuck there like reading and analyzing to like truly get the meaning. Whereas this one, it was kind of very straightforward with how you're saying. It's like it's comparing love to a sickness. And it what's the word I'm looking for? It in a sense, kind of I like the way that it did the comparison, and then really again like straightforward kind of showed, like how it can happen out of nowhere, it can happen very rapidly, it can really take over, both like I guess you would say like physically and like emotion, like you feel the emotions of love, and even sometimes like there's like the physical aspect of love, of like the pain, like some people sometimes get physically ill after or because of love, I guess you could say, like when like with heartbreak, like people get obviously they get like a heart, like if a breakup happens, they get heartbroken and all that, but there's also like physical aspects to it, like I'm kind of ranting here, but it's like I like the way she did this, where it was like she was straightforward with what she was going with, and like she really kind of connected those dots of like, here's how it like truly compares to a sickness like the flu.
And it is interesting because with the flu specifically, everyone takes precaution, get your flu shot and stuff like that. So then for you to still get the flu after getting the flu shot, you kind of resent yourself even more in a way, because you should have been more careful, but you chose not to, and you got sick. And the same way with love, even if you're kind of protecting yourself from it, it can still happen.
Yeah, that's a good take. Because how many times have you seen people like purposely try and go out of their way not to, and they still end up anyways? Yeah, really, really good connection that she did there. I really liked that.
I really liked her vocals in this song. Well, in like all of them, her voice is amazing. But like each song just has like her voice, but just like a little bit different, and it just makes it a little bit, for lack of better words, spicy, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I really enjoy her vocals a lot. This was really good to hear, and the next song was probably my favorite off the album so far when I was listening, and even after listening to the whole album, I think it's my favorite song. I don't know why. I just, speaking about the sound and the vocals, I just really love the sound of this one, like the overall sound of her voice, the instrumentals, and all that. The song I'm talking about is Coin.
Coin was, when it came out, or when the music video for it came out, a lot of people on my server were talking about it. They even started this little IU club. and yeah, they were fanboying. I wouldn't say fanboy, they were just very excited about IU during her release. I think it was like a 4-year wait for this album, so it's understandable. But watching the music video and listening to the song, it's very upbeat, and the message of the song is kind of interesting too, because you see this message again in later songs, but in like a bit different, because here it's kind of like going all in and not looking back.
Mm-hmm.
And she said I think in an interview, she said that that was how she viewed her 20s, or like her 20s were in basically summarizing what she said. She said that her 20s were very like work heavy and hectic, but not in the sense of her being productive. It was just kind of all over the place for her personally. And it kind of like that song Coin by itself perfectly like illustrates those feelings, because once you commit to something, like how she compares it to gambling, once you go all in and you invest everything that you have, it's kind of like it's literally impossible to go back, because you can't just say, oh wait, never mind, I want my money back.
Yeah.
You know, or I didn't mean to put in that many chips. It's like, it's not possible. So it's kind of like, no, this is kind of like my interpretation, because I don't think other people will see it this way. It's kind of like a warning to others in saying, be careful of how much you invest into something. Because even if you think it's for the best, it might start consuming you more than you'd expect. But that's my take on it.
Yeah, I got similar sort of vibes from it, but I also got like I don't know, very similar to like the last album we reviewed. I got like the vibe I got from it, because I really liked the theme and lyrics of this one. The vibe I got from it was like, sometimes in this life you have to like gamble and take risks in order to succeed, you know, and kind of like how you were saying, it doesn't mean you're always going to succeed when you gamble, but like sometimes you need to take that leap of faith. You need to take those risks in order to be successful, you know. Like obviously there's the safer routes to take to be successful, but like, you know, sometimes in order again to be successful, there's a certain amount of risks you have to take if you truly believe in yourself and like the vision you have, you know. You have to go all in. And like I think she even says it at one point like in a different way, but you know, like you got to go all in so that you kind of like live life without regrets, you know. Like you don't want to end up regretting the fact that you didn't do a certain thing. And so like that's why again it's like it's the whole theme of the gambling and, you know, heart of the cards essentially, of like whether it works out in your favor or not. Sometimes it won't work out, sometimes it will, you never know. And that's the whole thing, is you got to take that risk to find out. And you know, it kind of also like preaches that mentality of like, you know, even if you do fail, you just got to keep going, you know. Like even if you end up failing at one thing, you just have to move on to the next, because you don't want to waste your time essentially upset that you failed, and also you don't want to waste your time, you know, knowing that you failed and didn't do anything after that, you know. Like you let one failure stop you from pursuing anything afterwards, you know.
Agree. Yeah, it's interesting that you said that, because at the end of the music video, I don't know if you saw it or not, but she, in the video, or her character, the character that she's playing, she goes all in, and they do this weird arm thing. I don't know, it's probably like a Korean thing. I don't know. And she loses. She lost everything. She loses everything. But the high roller that she was playing against, I guess like the boss of the casino, she gives her a coin. He gives her a coin, my bad. And her reaction is kind of like, she lost everything, but she still kind of sees the good in the coin, and she takes the coin and puts it in a jukebox, and he starts playing the next song of her album.
Oh wow, I need to check out the music video. I haven't seen it. That's a pretty
Mm-hmm.
cool concept. Um,
So it's kind of like saying like she lost everything, but she still sees the good in it, which really fits her character personally. Because in her childhood, you know what I told you about
yeah,
cockroaches and stuff, and then she was still her happy self trying to be positive.
yeah, and I think the thing that like truly kind of brings that whole narrative sort of home is part of like the chorus when she says, I can't die, I'm all in, and like
Mm-hmm.
that ties back to the whole thing I said of living life without regrets. It's like I don't know that I really like that line of the song because that like it truly is how I live my life now. That's kind of the mentality I have of like I can't die if I'm all in because it's like no matter what happens, no matter what successes or failures I have, it's like at least at the end of the day I know that I lived my life doing what I wanted to do, and even then like I look at it even in I don't look at it in like the grand scheme of things. I look at it like even if I'm able to do just at least one thing I love doing per day, I've already like won at life to be able to say that, at least one time during the entire day I was able to do something that I loved. I was able to do something that made me happy and like I don't know, that I just really like that line of like if you're going in with that all in like mentality of just doing what works best for you in life, you truly can't lose. And in this sense, how she said can't die, because it's like, are you truly the loser if you were doing what you wanted to do rather than forcing yourself to do something that you in a sense didn't want to do, which again can even tie back to the whole upbringing of her, how you were saying with her uncle. It's like, yeah, she could have easily listened and gave up on her aspirations, but yet she just continued pushing, and now look at where she's at.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if it's because in that same line, I interpreted it differently, and it's probably because of our difference in our current mindset in life. Because you have like this very positive follow your dreams and stuff, but then how I viewed it, it was kind of like in a like kind of like, how do I say it? It's kind of like in a panic sort of state. Like you're all in with everything that you have, and it's kind of like I can't die without seeing it through kind of way. I don't know. It just might be how like a difference in how or like our mental health right now, but between the two specifically. But yeah, I viewed it differently. But your take is pretty spot on, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this song the most out of the entire album, just because of like that whole aspect of it, and the personal connection, but also like how you're bringing up, there's just kind of different interpretations to it as well. That's what I really like.
Mm-hmm.
And
music in the end is subjective,
yeah,
and
sure.
how you view it is up to you entirely.
Yeah, for
not
sure.
not in K-pop, because if you disagree with someone, you're just dumb, stupid, or you should kill yourself.
Oh man,
That's a different story.
Yeah, they take it a bit to the extreme. Definitely more than other genres, I will say. But that again, that's a story for another time. But a story for this time is the next song that oh man, did this song, did I really like it, and like
Man.
it hit different, man.
It's kind of, this song to me kind of continues the purpose of the album, and again saying goodbye and hello to a new chapter in her life.
Yeah.
But obviously it hit you differently, so I want to hear your thoughts.
Well, I mean, first off, like the first line, I was already just like, all right, this is definitely a change of pace from the last song. I mean, obviously the sound should have been enough of a signal that it was going to be a more toned down sort of song, but man, did it just, I don't know, it was like the first line being that your name your name that hurt me is no longer lingering. Like that like I don't know what it was about that line that really like hit close, but it was just like almost in a sense you're finally set free from whatever like past I guess you could call it trauma in a sense, you know, because again I know it can be looked at as obviously how you were saying the transition of different periods of your life, but like looking at it in like I guess you could say like the romantical sense, like it really kind of hit different in the sense of like thinking about like that point where you're finally free from your previous love, like how she says, you know, it's no longer lingering, so it's like it's no longer has effect on you. You're kind of like finally moving on, but then at the same time the song still plays around with that by showing like maybe it isn't no longer lingering, because the line the next line she says, or like not the line but later in the song you see the line as I live like I have forgotten you completely, I want to see you once in a while coincidentally. It's like it kind of still shows that maybe again it's not no longer lingering, because why are they still holding out hope that they see them once in a while, you know? Like it kind of gives that like vibe of like someone who's trying to force themselves to hate someone, thinking it'll help them move on, but deep down they still kind of have those feelings of hope that, you know, oh, I'll coincidentally run into them like in the future to like, so they can see how I'm doing and I can see how they're doing, you know.
And later on during the bridge of the song, she says, so that we can meet on a different road every day. I walk diligently, I'll be waiting like this. And it kind of reinforces what you've been saying so far. That, well, with your interpretation, like having that, let's say in the past you have that romantic connection with someone, but then there was like falling out, and both parties were hurt by it emotionally. But then maybe, because at first you're resentful and angry, but then moving forward, maybe a few months, maybe a year or so, it varies from person to person. But people always reach that point where it's kind of like, oh, I wonder how they're doing now. And it's kind of like with not wanting to admit fully that this is how you feel. Because when she says, you're a coincidence that I want to see again. And then later on in the, where is it? Oof, I don't know. There was another part in the song that kind of helped your case. And yeah, it isn't just, because that's how I viewed it. It wasn't like fully wanting to admit something to be true.
I get that.
Denial, kind of.
Yeah, definitely. And I like how she kind of connected it back to Lilac, because I think there was like a lyric in Lilac where she said something like love me till the spring, and then like of course the name of this song is High Spring Goodbye, you know. It's like spring has arrived and now she's finally saying goodbye. I really like that connection.
But if I were to share my interpretation of the song, it was kind of more towards her, towards her like troubled times of her youth and like recent events. It was kind of like everyone has traumas and everyone has these painful memories that, despite our best efforts, we can't stop thinking about. Like that lingering feeling, you know? And then this is kind of her acknowledging it and finally saying goodbye. Because the way that she ends the song, it's very beautiful to me. It feels like you're hugging me again. It's what you used to do in the past without saying a word. In order to get along better, I guess this is a friendly goodbye. I won't not know you. I'll acknowledge you first like this. Bye. And that ending to the song really captivates those feelings of the only way that you could actually move on. Not the only way, but one of the ways that help people move on from traumas, from painful memories, and like you said, from a relationship gone bad, is by acknowledging those feelings and properly saying goodbye to them.
Yeah, really, just in the end, really good stuff from this song. I really enjoyed it, you know. Yeah, that's pretty much all I can say about that song. It was really beautiful, especially the overall sound and vocal performance of it all.
Next song, Celebrity.
Yeah, her next song, Celebrity. I don't know. Maybe you have a different interpretation, because I know like a lot of the lyrics don't really seem that way. Because like I guess you could like say like the kind of like a point of view certain like sections of the song take may not back up my point, but like the kind of vibe I got from this song was like a message to myself type song, you know, like it was like it felt like, you know, a song that could be like directed from her to herself, you know.
That's interesting.
Would
you care to elaborate?
Well, I mean, there was just kind of like there was like points in the song where again like it could seem like it's directed towards like a general audience as like an uplifting song, but like there was like certain points where I was just like listening to it and it sounded like it was like she was like giving herself kind of reminders, you know, like telling herself that, you know, to remember that to remember her own sort of like uniqueness, and you know, being able to see the abilities, her own abilities that she has, even on like the cloudiest days, as she says at times, you know, like she wants herself to remain optimistic despite, you know, maybe like all the hate that she gets or whatever, you know. It's like it kind of like came off as like, again, like how I was saying, you know, just to remember her own unique abilities from time to time, even when others may try and make her not be able to see that, you know. That's just kind of the vibe I got from it.
I think that's kind of applicable to kind of all the interpretations that I thought of, because you can make the argument that this is directed for herself, like this is IU talking to herself, or trying to what's the word? That's, well, you can, yeah, basically that. But then you could also kind of make the point for other people as well, like from a fan who may be an actual celebrity, who maybe not like a small artist, to like an unknown artist that's making music on, I don't know, maybe Spotify, and that gets maybe 1,000 listeners a month, and despite not having like a huge audience to that select few, this could be how they feel towards that artist. You know, like maybe the artist isn't happy with how progress is going, but this is kind of the fan telling that artist, despite everything, you're my celebrity because of like the things that are listed in song and things like that. Or it could be talking about like a person that's no way related to being an artist or a celebrity. It could be like towards your parents or a sibling, someone that you care and look up to. You could also make that argument for it. And I don't know much about this, but there has been speculation that this song was dedicated to one of her friends. I don't know which friend it was, because again, it's speculation. Yeah. But the line that kind of drove people to that conclusion, what was it? Don't forget, during the long winter, a flower can bloom between the frozen cracks. Can't you see how beautiful tomorrow's spring is to be? You're my celebrity. And this is according to other people. This isn't like my take on it. this kind of drove her fans to think it was intended to someone that she knows that's currently struggling or was struggling at the time. It's kind of, yeah. It's, if that is true, it's like, it's kind of like a hit. It's very hidden, but if you know it's for you, you'll like immediately spot it.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like that line. Like I said, obviously I'm not like trying to argue against it at all. You know, I could see like I could see it both ways. You know, like how I said, like it could be a more like general thing. You know, like a general, broader type like message. You know, not necessarily just specifically to maybe one person. And I think that's like again, that's the beauty of music, is that it's subjective. But like the beauty of this song too, it's like almost anyone can like relate to the song. You know. Like almost anyone could look at that, and it can serve as an uplifting song to anyone who maybe is currently struggling to see, you know, themselves in, you know, the brightest of lights, you know, or in the most like how would you put it, like in the most positive light. There we go. You know, like for people who are struggling with that, this is a song that they can use to really like help themselves out with that sort of struggle.
And if we really wanted to, we could start like analyzing the choice of words specifically with celebrity, because what is a celebrity, and why would she choose the word celebrity over many other words that some might say could be more applicable, but then that's kind of like a story for a different day type beat.
Yeah, I get that. But I guess
so far, she's 5 for 5.
Interesting.
In this album.
Perspective. And we're 5 for 5 here, and in the next episode we will cover the next 5. Tune into the next episode where we cover the second half, and part of me feels like the start of the second episode may be a bit of a, how would I put it, not hot take, but certain conversations might be sparked due to an opinion or not on the next episode. So we'll see you all in the next episode.